everybody, how you guys doing out there? What is the word? Oh, I didn't like that fade in. Let's try this again. Hey everybody, hey, what's going on out there? This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and I'm just double checking right now to make sure that everything is going the way that I need it to go for this stream. So I'm actually digging what I'm looking at, and this is good for your guys' entertainment value. So with that, I'm gonna say thank you and welcome to the dark side of the room, where we talk about a lot of different things involving gaming, my history as a gamer and how it might relate to you, and shout out to a lot of the new people out there. Thank you for my 2 new subscribers from this week. This one I'm saying, hey, what's up? And hopefully we get to see you guys out here in the chat. Now, what I wanted to do today was I was really trying to figure out a way to do a broadcast this on 2 mediums, because there's been a lot of stuff going on with internet stuff and with YouTube. So this might actually be one of the last times that you guys see me on Facebook or on YouTube here for a little while, but we'll get into that just a little bit. So what I'm gonna do right now is I am setting, I always have a thing where I'm like, okay, now we're doing a thing, blah blah blah, and we're going live right now. So just putting out the announcements, because today's episode I think is pretty important. It really is. There's been some new stuff coming down the pike, and again with this new what is the term? A lot of these new YouTube policies that are coming down and stuff. Things are changing because life is ever present. What's going on, Jen? Thank you. I'm glad that you like the new background over there. So we are going to be talking about quite a few things. Boom, 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 boom. Again, new subscriber. Hey, Bailan, what is the word? Hopefully you're there. Hopefully you're watching. And yeah, that is really, really a major thing. So what I'm doing right now is I am pulling up a big thing to say hi to some of the people out there. Number one, Shannon Boom Boom Lay, thank you for still being my top patron. And of course, I've got to say, what's up? Hey, howdy to NP City. What's going on, NP City? How you guys doing out there? Again, thank you. Oh yeah, Quinjin's Queer Gear. Check out their page, dude. These guys, really talented musician, really talented with all the beat boops of the electronic stuff. And this is the part that we take care of, the business part. So if you guys want to join us on the show or bring up a conversation to talk about or something like that, that's easy. All you gotta do, it's real simple, real easy. Just grab your phone, pull up the keyboard app, or if you're sitting at your computer because you're old like me, just open up a little thing and type in backinthedeck at gmail.com. It's BACKINTHEDECK at gmail.com. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification thing, do all those likes and all that stuff here on the YouTubes. Share the videos and do all that stuff. Follow us on the social media at backinthedeck or at BID_P. I'm changing the title card in time. Again, I'm doing a lot of things for the site. And of course, if you are on that wretched hype of scum and villainy that we might be on after this part, the YouTube, just head on over to Deckers on the Book. Join the group. It's a public group. You guys can talk to each other, talk to us. You know, everything has sort of a fan page and all that jazz. And of course, head on over to soundcloud.com. Now, what's up over at SoundCloud? Well, if you go to soundcloud.com/BID_P, you will have access to our archive. And what does that mean? Well, when you are sitting up in the archive, guess what you get? You get the Oh, what is all this? This is, oh my God, what could it be? Whatever could it be? This is the audio archive. Now, I've talked to a lot of people this week, and they're like, I can't stand to watch your stuff. There's too many talking heads, or it's just a talking head and it's not interesting, and all these other excuses I'm going to give for not actually supporting you and doing all that stuff. All right, cool, I get it. You don't like talking heads, you don't like a lot of aspects of this kind of thing. That's cool. But here's the gig. If you head on over to SoundCloud, you don't gotta look at my talking head. You don't have to think about how uninteresting the visuals on all this are. You know why? Because it's all audio. And just as incentive for you guys, I pay about 20 bucks a month to make sure that this type of thing works. And you know what that's for? That is to make sure that you guys, you, and you, yeah, you right there, can download this stuff for free and keep it, listen to it at your leisure, in your car, in your, whatever. Whatever it is that you listen to stuff in, you can totally do that. You don't just have to keep a YouTube window open with your headphones in and then get back to your regular work. You can listen to it in your car, at your spin class, at wherever it is that you like to put in your headphones. So with that, like I said, just head on down to the SoundCloud and all that. Now, if you want to support us in a real, substantial, direct manner, much like Shannon Boom Boom Lang, all you gotta do, real simple, just head on over to patreon.com/BID_P, and for as little as $1 a month, $1, you have access to our video archives, Patreon only, or should I say Patreon exclusive content. We're putting battle reports up, y'all, based on the new thing that I'm talking to you guys about today, and that is for as little as $1 a month. So we don't have sponsors on this. I have not monetized the YouTube channel, which is a good thing, because all you got to do is look up COPPA, that's COPPA, and you'll find out one of the reasons that I'm always walking on eggshells to try and keep this content out there. So with that, I'm gonna say thank you guys, and let's get to the show. Now, we got a lot of stuff that we want to talk about today. A lot of stuff, a great many things. And of course, today I sit up with the challenges of being new. Okay. Now, this week I am super hype. Okay. Again, I don't get sponsorships or things like that. So everything I talk about, every single thing that I talk about on the show is something that I'm into. And there is a new game that came out on November 15th called Marvel Crisis Protocol. Now, this is a tabletop miniatures game. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, well, you talk about HeroClix a lot. You talk about War Machine. You talk about all this stuff. And I do. But look at these minis, dude. Just look at these things. We got Ultron, or as my friends and I like to call him, good old Tom Waitsbot. And this is a relatively new company that's doing a relatively new thing. It is a tabletop miniatures game that the company never plans on having tournaments for. And I'm like, what was that? Comic books? Toys? No tournaments? These sound like my people. Yes, they sound amazingly like my people. And of course, the minis look great. I mean, they're just great sculpts. They're in 35 millimeter. And if you guys have been following the Instagram, you'll know that I picked up a copy on Sunday and I spent some time painting, and we're going to be doing battle reports. But this is something that leads directly into part of one of today's topics. Okay. And today's topics are similar to the topics that we have every week, because, this is what I'm at. And this is fear of beginning new things. Okay. Now, I totally get where that comes from. I really do. Because when this game, I heard about this game like about 2 weeks ago, and I saw some of the minis, and I ain't gonna lie, You know, these things look interesting, but it's a tabletop miniatures game, and that tends to attract a competitive crowd that I'm not really into. Okay? I'm just being straight up. And one of the reasons that I have a problem with what is the term? What are the words I'm looking for? One of the major reasons that I have a problem with that type of crowd is because I'm not a very competitive person. I'm not out to win. I have arguments in good faith when I have arguments, which means I'm not trying to win the argument. I'm trying to learn something and teach something, mainly a point of view. Okay. So how does that play out in the really real world, man, where there ain't no coming back? Well, as you guys know, I spend a lot of time trying to get people into these hobbies to make the community grow. And the number one thing that I tend to come across is people that go, well, that looks interesting, but it's new and it's just not grabbing me. I'm not that into it. I'm not that into it is a great big thing. And it's like, how can you be into it? I'm just showing you that now. So a lot of people want an initial spark. They want to see it. They want to get hype. But when it comes to something absolutely new, something that you've never done before, something completely out of your wheelhouse, so many minds get closed. So many minds are like, I'm an adult, and if I didn't get into it when I was a teenager, I'm not going to get into it now. And I'm going to explain why I'm not a big fan of that mindset. That is a fantastic way to look at the world. If you're already rich, you're already famous, you already know everything, and you are completely happy and satisfied with your life. Now, when I say that, because, get away from your keyboards, all right? Get away from your keyboards. Because I hear people going like, I'm happy, I'm content, I'm this, I'm that. No, stop. If you have social anxiety, depression, you are not a peer-reviewed expert in every subject that you're passionate about. If you don't wake up in the morning raring to go in your life 4 days out of every week, then you're not the kind of happy I'm talking about. If you are, that's cool. Close off your life. Don't learn anything new. That's where you're satisfied. Okay? But, and this is a big but, if that's not your experience, then improvements can be made. And I ain't judging, okay? I tell my therapist quite often, I don't know what being happy is, but I'm really, really aiming for a major lack of misery. Okay, that is what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to wake up in the morning and not go, oh, God. I dropped my mouse, by the way. That's one of the reasons. But yeah, if I can wake up in the morning and not be upset that I woke up, or wake up not in pain, or, that's the minimum that I want to reach for. So when I find things that might bring me joy, something that's new that I might look forward to being in, all right, I'm willing to give a shot. That's the real me. That's where I'm coming from. That's what I'm digging, and that's what I try and do, and that's also what I try and bring to people. Okay, that is a really big thing. That is one of the reasons that I'm here. Now, with that, there's fear. And I'm going to tell you a story. Hopefully he's watching. I got a friend that I talk to about most things geeky. He's a blurred, but I'm not going to call him out because, I ain't dirty with that kind of laundry. And I hit him up and I'm like, okay, check out this thing. And he's like, dude, that's dope. That looks, and I'm like, man, the gameplay looks fun. You want to learn how to play it and maybe help me film a battle report? And he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to play, but I'm afraid I'll be bad at it, and I don't want to lose. And I'm like, okay, all right, I get that. I definitely get that. But here's the thing, and I replied with him. I replied to him that the game came out on November 15th. Everybody's bad at it because it's brand new. It's brand new. No one is an expert at this yet, except for maybe some of the game testers, of which there might be 200 globally, and the game designers, of which there are maybe 25 globally. So with this game, and with a lot of new things that you're doing, when I say new, I mean just came out, just hit the store. The company may be less than 2 years old. It's that kind of thing. Everybody is new. And the closest things that we have to experts on a planet that has a population of about 7 billion people. That's 7,000 million. That take a million, multiply that by 1,000, then multiply that by 7. Okay, that's how many people that there are. And of all those people, there might be 250 that are good. Okay, now those are the numbers. Those are the numbers, and those are pretty much the numbers of any new thing, any new piece of software, any new piece of electronics gear, any new machinery. I promise there's maybe 1,000 people who knows how to drive that new Tesla truck that looks like it was made on Microsoft Paint and rendered on a Dreamcast. So, but I had to ask myself the question, because I see this a lot. Especially when I go to people that play games and I try and teach them something new. And the number one thing I see is sort of, I call it an inadvertent gate. Okay, you talk to people who have been gaming for as long as I have, or when people that have been gaming as long as I have are teaching you, they try and pull the Asian karate method of throwing you in the ring, beating the crap out of you, and then expecting you to figure out how it was done and all that stuff. Well, that's not our culture, and I'm going to tell you guys my theory on spicy food. Okay, one of my favorite YouTube channels, check it out after you watch this video, is called Hot Ones. Hot Ones. It's First We Feast is the YouTube thing, and the show is called Hot Ones, and they show a bunch of really, really good celebrity interviews, and I mean really good celebrity interviews, but they have the people interviewing and the people being interviewed eat hot wings of escalating heat levels. I could never do that show because I don't like food that's that kind of hot and spicy. I figure if I have to train in order to eat, I'll do something else if there are better options. I promise you on that. But with a lot of these games, yeah, a lot of them take practice. But the idea of taking someone who's brand new and giving them hot sauce that's like 250,000 on the Scoville scale, that's or taking the new martial artist and putting them directly in a padless sparring competition, with all of the black belts in the school at once. That's what it feels like. Chuck Norris or Donnie Yen sparring against a 5-year-old. And that is disheartening. It's embarrassing. And a lot of these games, it doesn't matter if we're talking about Arkham Horror, HeroClix, War Machine, Warhammer 40K, Kill Team, Mordheim, you name it. Most of these games are complicated. Okay? And most people, when it comes to playing a new game, they get this idea. That they want to do it like Monopoly. You roll the dice, you move the piece, that's the game. Okay? And there are a lot of games that are like that. One of the reasons that Cards Against Humanity is so popular. It doesn't have a learning curve, it has a learning hump. That's it. Not a learning curve, but I don't know how to play Cards Against Humanity. Okay, I learned the rules, now I'm good. That's one of the reasons that a lot of people like it. And I'm down with that. The thing is, I'm not down with closing off the possible experiences because something is a little more complicated. And I say a little more. Now, granted, I went to school for physics. That ain't exactly easy, and it took a lot of hard work. But I don't need rocket science, okay? Ain't gonna lie. I'm getting frustrated with 3D printers because of all the engineering that's there. Not really what I got into that hobby for. Okay. Um, but I tried to learn it and I gave it a sincere shot. And I'm thinking about going to resin printers instead of the dot matrix ones that you could see all those lines in and stuff. But that's a personal thing. Now, when it comes to a lot of new games, I'm like, okay, guess what? This game came out on County Day, y'all. 15th. All right, today is the 26th. It is literally 10 days old on the open market. Some people know how to play it all right. I've been studying it hard since Sunday. Because I'm kind of the dude that's in the position of having to teach people new games. So I have to get, I tend to be the first one to get them. Then I have to learn how to play them. But I want you guys to think about video games, like party games, right? You have the person that owns the party game, they have the party, and other people are learning how to play, but they get frustrated. But then the guy who owns it or the girl who owns it has to play through the game like 8 times to unlock all the levels so that everyone actually has access to the fun stuff and not just the training stuff. But then nobody can talk, nobody can play with the person who throws the party because they all feel bad for not being as good. I'm here to say let that go. Okay? I get it. People don't want to lose. People don't want to feel like they're dumb. But no one, and you'll hear me say this, you've heard me say it 100 times, you'll hear me say it 1,000 times more. No one is an expert on the first day. When you had to learn how to, first you had to learn how to freaking crawl before you learn to walk. Okay? I don't know one baby out there that's running track. You know, I really don't. I don't know. I don't know. There might be 1 or 2 out there, but for the rest, or most of the rest, of that 7 billion people on this planet, there was laying on the back, looking cute, drooling on ourselves with no teeth, just gums. Then came crawling. Then came toddling. Toddling is kind of walking, but your legs aren't exactly strong enough to hold you up, so you're kind of wiggling and wobbling. You're walking and it's a toddle, and you know you do it when you're drunk after you're an adult. And after that, you know, then we learn how to walk, and some of us learn how to run, and then some of us started running track. Some of us started doing other stuff like that. Man, my mic is loud. Some of us started doing a lot of those things. But to compare yourself to the people that do this stuff for a living, that's an unfair metric. Look at this, okay? I'm here, I'm making YouTube videos, and even a lot of people in my life are comparing me to a TV producer that has at least Comedy Central, if not NBC, money, cameras, and crews behind me. You know, well, it doesn't look like it doesn't look like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so I don't want to watch it because my standards are so high for my attention. Stop, let it go. Okay, I'm talking to the rest of y'all, to the rest of y'all that are just like me. I'm big on getting out there and doing it. Okay, get out there, do it. I am really super hype about this game. I really am. I am super hype. I mean, dude, look at the look at the way that looks. It's you're playing with toys, you're doing your thing, and it is gorgeous to look at this stuff. The way that it comes out. I mean, this okay, my Iron Man and Captain America are not painted that well. I'm not that guy. But I don't feel bad for my stuff not looking like this. I just want to play the game. And I want my friends to play the game with me, you know, so that we can all have fun and be like, oh man, I'm playing the Hulk. Ooh, yeah, I'm playing the Hulk. I'm playing this, I'm playing that. You know, I'm a big fan of that kind of thing. That is where I come from. These things are fun. A lot of the stuff I'm talking to you guys about is fun, you know, so take in some of the fun. That's where I'm at, you know. But I get it. There's this embarrassing thing, and my question is, what standard are you holding yourself to where not being an expert is a show of a character flaw, or it's something that causes social anxiety? And I don't know. I don't know what brings a lot of that stuff up with people. But I do know one thing. There is a lot of stuff that people do. I was talking to another friend about role-playing games, and he's more of a video game guy. And then I started thinking, video games are interesting in the pop culture zeitgeist. Okay? They really are. Yeah, bring your friends in for this conversation, because I'm going to show you guys that I get it. But first, I'm going to check in on the chat. How you guys doing? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, right? That truck. Jen, that truck is, yeah. And yeah, all right. See, somebody else that watches Hot Ones. It's pretty awesome. I'm a fan. But one of the things I can tell you is video games are interesting because if you play a game specifically like an RPG or a first-person shooter online, or on video games rather, your learning curve is very solitary. I noticed that. You can isolate yourself from the entire planet until you either know basically what you're doing or until you GIT GUD. Now, I'm not a big fan of get good. I'm really not. I'm not a big fan of get good. I don't like the idea of locking yourself away to expertise so that you can show up and appear that you're the new person that happens to have mastery. Okay, I don't think that that's honest. It's not something I do. It's not something I go, whoa. I'm very much are you sure you've never done this before? Well, I never played this online, or I never did this with other people. I just kind of been go fishing by myself and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Just don't tell people that you're new when you're not. That's not cool. And it's not necessary. Or as we used to say in my neighborhood, you ain't got a lot to kick it. So I've noticed with video games, there is a tutorial level, and most of the time people play these tutorial levels at home, in their rooms or in their offices with no one else around, no spectators, so they can insulate themselves from embarrassment. And that part I understand, okay? But I had to ask myself the question and think about some of all my friends from when I was growing up. And I thought, okay, what is the reason that you're so embarrassed? And I had one friend who shall, of course, remain safely anonymous because this is the public forum, that used to tell me how they used to be embarrassed just by sitting alone and remembering a lot of the stuff that they would do. Like they would think back to an embarrassing thing that they said or a time they got laughed at a party or whatever, and they would end up feeling that embarrassment by themselves with no one else around. And I'm like, you can be embarrassed? Like, you can be embarrassing to yourself? I can see where that comes from, but occasionally I find myself going, man, that was stupid. But then I forgive myself because it's me judging, right? And that's the thing, that anxiety, that wall of I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want people to say bad things about me. I get it. I'm a Generation Xer, so I watched millennials grow up. Okay, I'm a little older. I watched you guys. And over the course of your guys' formative years, there wasn't the, I suppose you can say, socially expected sense of war that there was in previous generation. And when I say that, I mean this. I grew up in a rough neighborhood, as you guys know, but every neighborhood I went to, if two kids couldn't come to some sort of accord, they would fist fight, they would call it a day. Parents would be like, hey, don't do that at school. You know, and then and that would be it. So then the kids would meet after school or in parks or any places where it was not inappropriate to have those confrontations, the yelling matches, the screaming, the crying, the fighting, all that stuff. And because my generation, Generation X, were latchkey kids with absolutely no supervision, um, millennials got overcorrected. So you guys had all these helicopter parents trying to insulate you from any pain in the world. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry because I'm not saying, oh, you guys suck, you're all this. I ain't judging you. But I do see the lack of thicker skin, or should I say the thinner skin that you guys have compared to what I had to have. In truth, like I say all the time, no correction like an overcorrection. Your guys is thin. Your guys' skin is very thin, where our skin is too thick. Okay, so you guys have all this anxiety where my generation are sociopathic nihilists. It's kind of a thing. Hopefully, you Zoomers out there learn from us and don't be like any of us. Be that golden mean, that thing in between. Um, and what I'm seeing is a good amount of people in the world have so much social anxiety. So much. Ooh, man, I lost viewers on that one, didn't I? I'm checking out the chat right there. And let's see, take a look. Yeah, we're looking at 2 people that are still watching the show. I'm not attacking you guys, just letting you know. But what I can say is that everyone has fear of new things. Okay. There is a set amount of fear that comes in no matter how competent or woke or how much therapy you've had. That fear is going to be there. Okay. But when you go into something with more than the standard, then it makes stuff difficult. Guess what? There ain't nothing wrong with losing a game. It's a game. It's a game that you play with your friends. That's it. That's all. If it ain't your career, you ain't got money riding on it, or losing isn't going to cost you your home, your friends. I mean, I totally get it if there are, let's say, terrorists that have your family hostage and are going, you have to win this board game that you have never played before, or I'm gonna paint the wall with your 8-year-old's heart. I can see where that would be a little pressure. And I know that things feel that intense sometimes, but no, I ain't that guy. I ain't that guy, and no, I'm not gonna support. I'm not gonna Ben Shapiro anybody. What I'm gonna say is that the way that I make it through my anxiety, okay, what I do when I'm feeling that kind of overwhelmed, when I'm feeling that kind of fraud complex, expectations of perfection. And in my experience as a black dude in America, if I don't show expertise right out the gate, I have had experiences where people use that as a means to dismiss me or make me go away. And I mean, like, dismiss what I have to say as irrelevant, or physically have me removed from places, So I get it. I've got that stuff. But what I do when I'm in that place, when I'm in that moment, is I feel the feelings. I don't judge myself for the feelings. And once that feeling has subsided, and it goes by a lot quicker once you accept that it's there and you don't call yourself stupid names or anything like that. Just, oh my God, it's here. All right, cool. Oh man, this is terrible. I'm a monster. Rawr. And once all that initial thing has happened, you can look around and then you can say, okay, but that is how I'm feeling right now. What is the truth? Now, sometimes the truth is going to be substantiated. It's going to be real. Okay? Sometimes the truth is that anxiety you were feeling was absolutely founded. You might be in a toxic situation. But most of the time, the majority of it could be in your head based on misunderstanding of what's going on, based on interacting with trauma from the past that isn't applicable to what's happening right now. And how does this apply to gaming? Well, most of the time we have this always a bigger fish paradigm. Okay, we go into things thinking about a hierarchy. Okay, second winner is first loser. You know, that's just the way it is. And in looking at stuff like that, and believe me, there's a reason to, because that's how we're treated at school most of our lives. That's how the jobs that we have treat us. I mean, for those of you guys that actually have a 9 to 5, good on you. But you tell me, how difficult was it to climb up to the position that you're at now? How hard is it to advance from where you are now? And how hard is it to maintain the paycheck and benefits that you have now? All based on the moment we find somebody better that we can pay less, or someone that we can pay the exact same amount who'll do more, you're out. You know, so this always bigger fish, this competitive hierarchy, this you have to win, Andrew. That's what you have to do. You have to win. I don't care if you have to duct tape somebody's butt cheeks together. You have to win. You know, that idea, I'm not going to say doesn't serve you. Okay, I'm not going to say that because honestly, I don't know what lives you guys live. But what I will say is that even behavior that tends to be a bit toxic, says the guy smoking, has a time and place. Okay? Is the super athlete, you have to win, you must crush your opponent, or you are worthless. Is that the thing? Is that really the time? Is a birthday party with your friends the time and place for that? I don't know. I don't know your lives. I know in my life, it's not that time or place unless money is on the line. It's a zero-sum game, or there are bullets involved. And trust me, if losing equates to physical danger, I try not to play games like that at all. So far, I'm doing a pretty good job in my middle age life. But this always this not obsession with being the best, but this paradigm of I'm only going to play, I'm only going to participate if I can be the best. From what I've seen, especially with gaming, a lot of games, because there are so many games out there. Check out the game gallery. Or should I say, check out the game gallery. What I've come to find is that in the process of learning a game, no one's going to win the first. They might not win the first 4. Okay? Just like as a musician, it's very rare that you're going to look at a piece of sheet music and play it perfectly. Just, all right, that's what the sheet music says. Done. You know, that only happens to people that have been studying music as a whole and spot reading for a decade or more. And I'm talking 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay? Remember when you guys first learned how to drive? You didn't know how to parallel park. Matter of fact, statistically, throughout the 80s and 90s, parallel parking and freeway driving and expressway driving, for those of you guys not on the West Coast, were the most feared and anxiety-driven things because people needed to practice. You know, and that's the thing. Now, I'm not saying you should train like Rocky in a montage, but learning how to play it until you understand and then making the decision on whether or not you like it. That is the thing that I always recommend to people, regardless of what it is that they are trying to learn. You know, you're going to meet people that are more passionate than you or less passionate than you. I get that. I totally get that. And I know from personal experience that some of the people that are super passionate can also be obnoxious. I get that. You know, I don't know who I could be thinking of right now, but What I will say is sticking with something long enough to learn how to do it, just learn the basics. I'm not talking putting together the team that will win you every tournament and crush your opponent and make them rue the day that they sat down on the table across from you. No. I mean, oh, okay. I got beat. I see how I got beat. Thank you. All right. Done. And that's it. Or I won and I see how I won. And I had fun. All right, cool. Now, that doesn't mean if you go through that and you like it, then you're obligated to spend 8 or 9 hours a day learning how to do that. That's my job. My job is to do that so I can teach you guys. But when you guys learn stuff like that, and I'm not just talking about with gaming, I'm talking about just with anything, you know, anything. If you're trying to learn 3D printing or coding or running track or yoga, you're not going to be amazing at it the first time unless you've had a lifetime of experience training in something that falls into that category. Okay. If you're a lifetime pianist, you'll be able to pick up guitar relatively easy compared to someone who's never done it. And currently, we're living in a culture where being incompetent in solitude is what people try and push, especially here on the internet. And I get it. But long, long ago, before there was an internet, if you wanted to learn a sport, you had to play. Yeah, you could practice your jump shots. You could do your football drills where it look like they're doing the MC Hammer dance. You can do that all day. You can do that by yourself. But one of my old co-hosts used to always say that his instructors used to tell him that practice makes permanent. Okay. Some people say practice makes perfect, and it might. Certain types of practice do, but all repetition cements the process of repetition. It is called learning by rote. Okay. And I'm not a big fan of learning by rote, but I see its time and place. Okay. Sometimes you just got to do things. You got to do things and then ask why later. But learning in solitude, and for those of you guys that do the basics, the tutorial level of a video game in single player, and then you go online and you find a server and you still get served, y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay. But what we're trying to do here at Back in the Deck, and with your guys' help, is to cultivate more of a gaming culture that says it's okay to be a newborn. It's okay to be new. It's okay to be at the beginning. All right? Because there seems to be this thought on the internet of if anybody can point out something that you forgot to mention, misquoted, misunderstood when you spoke, then, whoa, they come down with great vengeance and furious anger, and it just, I get it. Nobody wants to be the person that everybody gangs up on, and we live in a culture where we get ganged up on a lot. And I mean that. We get ganged up on a whole lot. I understand it. And in truth, I disapprove of it. I really do. I'm not a fan of how much we gang up on each other. I'm not a fan of this zero sum. I have to be better than you, so I have to beat you by any loophole necessary, which means if your accent is different or if you make a mistake, then you're wrong, and wrong people don't deserve to breed. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't support that, and I'm against it because that is gatekeeping. Okay, that means you are worthless unless you are exactly like me. If you grew up where I grew up, learned everything I learned, and you have my perspective on it, is the only way that you're worthwhile. That's BS. Okay, homogeny tends to breed extinction. It really does. Our mathematics come from the Middle East. Our understanding of history was written by the Romans and then reinterpreted by the Irish. You know? And that's just here in the United States and part of Western culture. So this idea that being the best and being superior is the only thing that matters, I got news for you. I'm looking something up real quick. Because this literally just came to my mind. Because, yeah, I was thinking, when I was young, I had a counselor by the name of Braxton. And he used to say, he quoted Vince Lombardi, which is, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. And he's like, that's not what he said. He said that winning isn't everything, but wanting to win and working to win is. Okay? And yeah, I'm pulling up a Vince Lombardi quote right now, which is, perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. And I'm like, yeah, chase the perfection to get to the excellence. That's cool. But understand that you're chasing perfection. And that does not mean lord over those who are behind you. Okay? That's not the way to do it. Don't lord over people. Don't do stuff like that. But a lot of the times, like I said, this is the inner challenges of being new. And one of the challenges, the internal challenges of being new, is being afraid that those who are less new will subjugate you and marginalize you for not being as good as they are. I get that. I get it. I understand it. I don't agree with it. And I don't promote it. And I don't think that you should either. But those are my thoughts. I want to thank the people that are watching today. I really want to thank the people who are commenting, because over here in NP City, we got the Jen and Final D, having some pretty good discussions. But I want to thank you lurkers out there too. Those of you guys that aren't actually, what is the term? Oh yeah, talking in the chat, but I like that you guys are here. And, but I'm letting you guys know that that's our time, and our time is important, and it is all of those things. But you guys know I only do this for an hour every week, and I want to thank you guys that are there. So for those of you guys that are, oh, look at that. Yep, I've even got the music playing us out, and that is great. Super happy thanks to all of the deckers that are out there. And if you guys want to become a decker and all of those things, that's easy. All you got to do is pull up a keyboard and type in backinthedeck@gmail.com. It's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. Smash that like and subscribe button. Get the notifications for when we post stuff up. We're trying to make the YouTube channel grow so that, we can get the word out there and maybe actually start putting a dent in this hierarchy of superiority that's out there. And of course, follow us on Twitter @backinthedeck. Sign up on Deckers on the Book. I'm about to start running this video on Facebook Live just to get that word out there. And of course, head on over to the SoundCloud to download for free a good amount of our old or should I say good amount of our archive, because it's there. It's for you. And if y'all don't like talking headpieces, that's fine. All you got to do is download it and put us on while you're vacuuming. You're washing the dishes. Hey, put us on. Talk to this stuff. And of course, if you guys want to support us directly, I would really appreciate it if you guys headed over to patreon.com/BID_P. And you guys will see the content and be able to talk to us directly and make suggestions. And I'm sorry to tell you guys, but the Patreon is the only way that you are going to be able to suggest a topic for the show. So if you guys have shows or topics that you guys want us to cover, you got to be at a certain Patreon tier, and not only will we listen to you, but we will write and produce and get around to doing that kind of show. But with that, I'm gonna say, if anybody tells you that you can't like what you like or have the hobbies that you like because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, or your budget, you just tell them that we said to take those cards and put them back in the deck. This is Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, saying thank you guys for joining me on the dark side of the room.